And so this weekend's actually a pretty big weekend for me to celebrate the fact that, you know, I went through all that, obviously went through some serious bodily trauma, so to speak, and, you know, made it back. Now, one of the things that is interesting about this, at least in my mind and hopefully in yours, is, you know, as I said, I was home for 6 weeks, doing nothing. And it is really boring to be at home doing nothing for 6 weeks. Maybe when I'm retired I will look forward to that, but I did not enjoy my time at all waiting to go back to work. And so I was looking for things to do. And it's the end of January, beginning of February, and I started to do my taxes. I had nothing to do, so I'm going to do my taxes. And I'm flipping through all my charitable deductions. You know, I see the ones that I normally do, that my wife and I normally do. And then I noticed that I had written in 2004, I was diagnosed in 2005. In 2004, I wrote a $25 check to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And I'm not sure that's going to buy a cure, but at least I was thinking ahead a little bit. And what it was, I was thinking to myself, where did this come from? Why did I donate $25 to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society? Honestly, at the time, I didn't really know much about the society at all. But it turns out a work colleague of mine, she was doing a triathlon in St. Petersburg with Team in Training, and she was the one that sent out an email, and so I gave $25. At that point, I said, okay, when I get back on my feet, when I'm doing all this stuff, you know, when I'm back at work, I'm going to give Team in Training a try. And so I signed up for a half marathon. I did the Virginia Beach Half Marathon in 2005, and I signed up for Disney. That was going to be my first marathon. But actually, when I was training for Disney is when I had to start treatment. Remember I said when you have an indolent lymphoma, oftentimes they won't treat you until you start to show symptoms. Well, the reason why I was in the hospital was because where the tumor was located was causing problems. It wasn't actually the symptoms of lymphoma itself that was giving me a hard time. But in the middle of training for the Disney Marathon, starting in the fall of 2005, I started to get the symptoms. I started to get night sweats. I started to get fevers. I started to feel fatigue. And my doctor and I decided, okay, now's the time to start treatment. I was thinking, hey doc, you know, I'm kind of training for a marathon. Is this going to cause a problem? He's like, you have cancer. You probably ought to get treated first. Can we work out a deal? And we worked out a deal. Here's what the deal is, and here's where your fundraising dollars are going. Okay, I went on a clinical trial. So when I was treated for cancer, I didn't go through chemotherapy. Okay, chemotherapy is like a bomb that they set off in your body, and the goal is to have you outlive the cancer. Because the chemo is going to kill everything that it touches. The clinical trial that I was on was a mixture of antibodies. Okay, antibodies are things that you can grow in your body, they fight off infections and things like that. Your body doesn't recognize cancerous cells as being foreign, so it doesn't kill them. So the doctors and researchers have developed these antibodies that they inject in you like an IV. And they recognize the cells, the type of cells that are causing you problems. And those antibodies glom on to those cells and either kill the cell or trigger something in your body to kill the cell. It put me in remission, great. But what the great thing is there are literally no side effects. Okay? This is my natural Caroline. This was not, you know, treatment, unfortunately. This is what I live with every day. The other great thing about it, though, is I trained for a marathon while going through cancer treatment. That is where research is going. I was in treatment for 4 weeks in November. Think about what you were doing in November. You were running 14, 16, maybe even 18 miles on the weekend for a full marathon, and probably 8, 10, 12, who knows what for the half. I was doing that too. It's just every Tuesday during November, I went in and got an IV for 6 hours, got to miss work. At that point, I thought it was cool to miss work. And I'd run the next day. I'd literally drive myself home in the afternoon and I'd run the next morning. And I'd run a long run that Saturday. Because when I say there are no side effects, there are literally no outward side effects. And so I want to let you guys know that when we talk about raising money and we talk about trying to find a cure for things, there is real progress being made, and it's because of all the money that folks have raised. I just want to leave you with sort of, you know, one thought here. You know, in telling my friends that I'm doing a goofy challenge, things like that, inevitably, I'm sure you get this too, when you tell me you're running a half or a full marathon, why would you do that? You know, I don't drive that far. You know, how far is that? I mean, can people run that far? Yes, people run that far. And you do this voluntarily? Yes. Okay, never mind. I don't want your money. I'm tired of answering these questions. But when it comes down to it, I told folks, okay, look, this is why I'm raising money this year. This is why I'm doing the Goofy Challenge. It's literally a 5-year anniversary. But the real reason is, and to pick up on a theme that John mentioned before, he said, just because you can do it doesn't mean that it's right. Well, the reason why I'm actually doing this is because I can. When it comes down to it, it's because I can. I can come up with every reason in the world why I'm doing it. It's 5 years, I love team and training, I love Disney, all that stuff. But the bottom line is, when you boil it down, it's because I can. And there was a time when I wasn't sure if I'd ever be able to do that. And that's why I really enjoy doing it. And this weekend, I know I'm going to go through hard times. Hopefully it's not going to be mile 2, hopefully it'll be closer to mile 20. But everyone's going to go through a hard time. And everyone's got their own games they play. Just get to the next mile marker, just get to the next porta potty, just get to the next water stop. Whatever mental game it is you play with yourself, you're going to play it. But just remember, you're doing this because you can. And you're doing it because there are a lot of people who can't. And you're doing it because hopefully in the future there will be a lot more people who can who otherwise wouldn't be able to. And if you can diagram that sentence, good luck. So anyway, I just want to wish you guys good luck tomorrow. Have fun and go team.
Thank you so much. Very, very well done. You said a lot of great things, but the truest thing you said is that you will have hard times.